Dennis, we're now here in front of your wonderful booth with a lot of quite interesting, very innovative machines. What is the positioning of your company in the market, in the world market of fitness?
We tend to focus on, actually it's funny because we focus on the elite level athlete, professional athletes, and older adults. For some reason we've been embraced by both ends of this spectrum, and now we're working towards the middle. But the reason is that both ends of that spectrum are working so close to their limits, their musculoskeletal limits, that they need to be able to work the muscles very hard and preserve the joints and connective tissue. When we're young and in the middle of our age, we think we can beat ourselves up and without any consequences. The problem is the consequences come later.
So the development of the market is quite helping you with your system, right? Or the other way, you help the market with the systems. So what is your special focus with your machines when you look at the technique?
What we do is we provide a concentric and eccentric resistance just like you would have with weight. But we don't rely on gravity and iron to produce that resistance. We use compressed air. And using compressed air, it allows us to create a very pure form of resistance, and one that doesn't depend on gravity, and one that can move as fast as the individual or the athlete wants to move. So what it allows us to do is now train the speed component of a movement as well as the force component. Everybody has focused on force and how much can I lift, but nobody talks in terms of how fast can I lift it. And what we're looking for is functional strength, not just slow speed strength, because we seldom ever use slow speed strength, but strength at the speeds at which we function.
So you can explain this at this machines too, you see behind you when he's training this guy?
Yes, and he can take that handle and he can pull that absolutely as fast as he wants to pull it. And he doesn't have to worry about any weights flying or anything crashing.
In which regions are you represented of the world?
All over the world.
All over the world. And does all over the world do exist the same developments, you know, with the older people getting into the need to train?
Actually, it's kind of started in the U.S., but even, and I think every industrialized country and every country that was involved, certainly in World War II, has this aging group of what we call baby boomers. And so you have this group of people that were born after World War II that are now moving into their late 60s, the oldest of which are turning 68 this year. So this group is very important, and they're obviously their parents, but this group is it's very important for them to start learning how to train safely, not continue to beat themselves up training with devices that are shock loading the joints and connective tissue, but training with a resistance that provides a very smooth resistance and one that allows them to maintain their speed. We see with older adults, not only do they get weak, but they get slow. And so much of balance and so much of the stability for an older adult centers around their ability to move quickly. We don't think in terms of that, but if you start to fall, you have to be able to rock back on your heels or step back. And the speed at which you're able to do those will determine whether you fall or don't fall.
Dennis, we changed the place now. Behind you there are your wonderful bikes in the special screening system. We see here 4 screens. Can you describe what we have here now?
Yes, our bikes have been displaying this year with our new wireless system, in which we transmit the information from our bikes to a receiver, and then from that receiver we can put onto the screen that you see behind me the information from the bikes for each of the riders. Now, what we've done that's a little bit unique is not only do we have our own projection system, but we've made ourselves integral with our other people who do projections, so that we can, the customer can simply buy our bikes and whatever they want as far as a projection system. So you have 4 of them represented behind me.
What kind of partners do you have for this system?
If you see on there, you've got My Zone in the upper right, our system in the upper left, and then you've got Igniter in the lower left, and you've got Spivey in the lower right. All with different types of systems, but all integral with our bike.
So this is just, I think, a very important tool to support the training situation between the instructor and the members of the fitness of the gym. How do you think about this training? How important is it that they know how to train very well the members?
Well, you got two things. You've got a program or a group exercise now that is pushing almost 20 years old, 17, 18, 20 years old. And so it's a very mature business, and people are looking for variety and new things to add to the group X or group cycling classes. This is just one of the ways to motivate their members, but also use the programs and the things that you see on the screen to actually now program the class. So you can have them ride in a certain interval. You can do certain competition. So we have competition screens. We have heart rate training screens where they can do a percentage of their heart rate. Or we've got functional threshold screens where they can do a percentage of their functional power threshold. So these are all varieties now that can be applied to their training program. So it keeps members wanting to come back.
A lot of gyms do have the situation that they have a lot of members, but just a few trainers, you know, just to take care that everybody pays and all these things. I think taking care of the members is quite important too. How is your philosophy at Keiser about this?
We train the trainers with our philosophy. The industry, the exercise industry, fitness industry, we have to all understand that we can do a lot of what we offer here wrong, and it can be detrimental to their health. And so it's our responsibility as an industry to make sure that when we have equipment like a bike or our exercise equipment, strength equipment, that we're properly training the people to use the products. Because used incorrectly can be hazardous. I tell people it's a lot like taking a drug. If you take the wrong drug, that's bad for you. If you take not enough of the drug, you don't get the real benefit. And if you take too much of it, it can be hazardous to your health. It's the same with exercise. If you don't take enough of it, if you don't do enough of it, you're not going to get the benefit. If you do the wrong exercise, it could be hazardous to your health. And if you do too much, and we have a lot of people in our industry that overdose on exercise because they're hooked on it, and just like somebody gets hooked on a drug, and that's not right either.
This is very exciting what you're saying. You're totally right in my opinion. What is your target for your company for the next years? What is the vision?
Well, like I said before, we've got both ends of the spectrum. We've got the elite level athlete, and we're dealing with the older adults. Primarily the older adults because they started using our equipment in 1988 when they were doing research on exercise and aging for the older adult. Because again, it's easy on the joints and connective tissue, but hard on the muscles. So what we've got now is both ends. We've got the elite athletes training on it, we've got the older adults training on it, now we want everybody in the middle.